Es un honor para mí y the Latin GRAMMY Cultural Foundation otorgarte la beca prodigio de Sophia Carson Prodigy Scholarship.
Pero en estos meses he tenido el tiempo de admirar tanto lo que hacen por músicos latinoamericanos, que es justamente la razón por la cual yo me quiero dedicar a la música.
Quiero darle las gracias a los Latin Grammy por dejarme ser parte de este proyecto y donar. La beca se llama Nicky Jam y estoy aquí ayudando a estos jóvenes a que rompan y sean los próximos artistas.
No one can speak to your experience the way you can speak to your experience. And that's why we need you as artists, because you're going to illuminate something that I don't know about, and you're going to change the world.
That our purpose goes beyond just making music, about inspiring younger generations of people to dare to dream and dare to follow their dreams.
Una nueva experiencia, algo muy bonito poder compartir con toda la chavalada aquí de la escuela de San Antonio y poder obviamente explicarles un poquito de cómo trabajo, qué es lo que hago fuera de, obviamente, de la cantada, y aparte poder escucharlos cantar y tocar, se me hizo algo muy bonito.
These workshops is to provide emerging musicians the tools for success in your craft.
Keep your dreams or make a plan of how you're going to get to that dream.
We have companies now that believe in the Latino market, believe in minorities.
You have the tools and support that you need.
Pensaba mucho en ser original.
Becas de iglesias, más de España.
Muchísimas gracias por seguir siguiendo y apoyando en jóvenes como yo, que celebramos nuestra herencia en la música hispana y latina.
Muchísimas gracias y sigan apoyando, por favor.
Gracias.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, those of you that are here in person with us, as well as those joining us through YouTube. I'm Rocky Agusquiza. I'm the Executive Director of the Latin GRAMMY Cultural Foundation, and for us, it's a pleasure to be here at FIU. Let's give a big round of applause to FIU. I really want to congratulate the entire faculty at FIU for the talent you're building here at this school. For us at the Latin GRAMMY Cultural Foundation, it's truly a pleasure to partner with you. There's a few folks I want to shout out that have just been phenomenal to work with. Aixa Vecino, Effie Gonzalez, thank you. You guys have been wonderful. As well as Karen Veloz, thank you for being here. And I know many of your students are with us as well. The global influence of Latin music has reached new heights. Yet there's still a lot of work to be done to elevate Latin music excellence and really increase access to music education. To date, the foundation has supported 383 exceptional music students to attend prestigious institutions around the world. We've invested more than $9.3 million in scholarships, grants, musical instrument donations, and educational programs worldwide. I want to give a big shout out to the entire team at the foundation for your passion, your commitment, and your tireless work making an impact globally for Latin music creators. Nanette, Kevin, Becky, Ismita, me ladies, thank you. We can't do the work without you. Through our Latin GRAMMY Master Series, we offer students lectures, conferences with talented and experienced musicians and business professionals from all areas of the industry. And today's no exception. We have an incredible lineup for you of our talent. What a pleasure it is for us to be here today in partnership with JPMorgan Chase. Together, we hope to continue to bring visibility and amplify the importance of financial education, from access to money to credit management, in building a career in Latin music and the arts. The hands-on information about credit, savings, and financial wellness is often not taught in schools, yet so vital for us. We're grateful to JPMorgan Chase for their partnership and commitment to providing financial wellness to Latin music makers and their families, because we understand there's a gap in knowledge and understanding of financial tools and practices between generations and also culturally. A special thank you to Silvana Montenegro and William Jaramillo of JPMorgan Chase for their vision and partnership. Thank you. Together, we continue to be a global champion for music education, and we empower communities through Latin music and culture. And to the volunteers from the Latin Recording Academy that are with us today, thank you for your collaboration and support. It is truly a team effort. I also want to thank our special guest artists and executives, Lena Burke, Manu Manzo, and Bruno Del Granado. Thank you for believing in our mission. Thank you for taking the time to share your stories with us today. You are truly an inspiration. Now, without further ado, I want to welcome our host for this Latin Grammy Master Series, Vicky Van, also known as La Chama. Vicky is the youngest Venezuelan radio host in Miami, Houston, Dallas, Chicago, Phoenix, and San Francisco. In the evenings, she serves as a reporter for the national newscast Primer Impacto. And at night, Vicky lights up Mix 98.3 in Miami with the hottest gossip, local news, and trending topics of the day. So you better tune in. She's also a host for Euphoria, in charge of artist interviews, concert event hosting, and red carpet coverage in award shows. It's a pleasure to ask you to please join me in a huge round of applause to welcome our host, Vicky Van.
Qué presentación tan linda. Thank you, Rocky, and welcome everybody to an amazing morning or evening, depending on what time do you wake up today. Who in this room has debt? Good, me too. Come on, let's raise our hands. Who owns money? To anyone, to a friend, to a parent? No one. You guys are so lucky. I own money. Who wants to have more money? Ah, okay, ahora sí, no? Okay, so this is what we're gonna be talking about today. I wanna introduce our first speakers of the morning. Jackie Gutierrez, Chase Community Manager. William Jaramillo, Head of Community Development at JPMorgan Chase. We're going to talk about the most important thing in this country, credit. So let's please give them a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vicky. Thank you very much. Let me get my clicker. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. All right, we're gonna. I'm gonna need energy. I need energy. So I need energy from you all. So, good morning, everyone. Oh, I needed that.
And I carry Cuban coffee around, and he told me no this morning. Yeah. So that's what you get.
I'm the only Cuban I know that doesn't drink coffee. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to be sharing the stage with the amazing Jackie Gutierrez, my partner in journey. Let's give it up for Jackie Gutierrez. As much as we prepare and we do, having an amazing audience like yourselves makes it easy, because it is hard. It's hard to get up here and talk about these things. So thank you. Give a round of applause to all of you for coming here and investing in yourselves. Thank you for it. All right. Now I have notes here. I'm gonna leave them here because I may refer back to them. But today we're gonna talk about financial health, specifically credit. So when we think about our own health, our mental health, our physical health, we can't forget the other parts of that, like our financial health. And what does that mean? Now, to keep you all engaged today, because this topic, as much as we're going to try and get you all engaged, it's fun, it's a little dry. So we're going to have some audience participation. We're going to go through a very short, condensed version. But in order to make it a little bit more fun, we're going to do like the Oprah giveaways. Don't look under your chair. we're going to give away free food vouchers. Who wants free food vouchers for the food trucks outside and our vendors out there? Well, all right.
Can I participate?
No, you cannot. So we have our lovely, lovely volunteer. Where is she? Where's Evelina? Here's Evelina. All right, so when you see Evelina, she has some food vouchers with her. So when we engage you guys with questions, and you get the answer right, it's like a pop quiz, you get a free food voucher. Is that cool? And you can use Google. Like if you need to use Google, you can use Google. We sound good? All right. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, Jackie, why don't you kick us off?
Absolutely. So, we heard the words credit could be scary, right? A lot of emotions come to mind when you think about the word credit. So we're going to start off by just getting a feel of how are you feeling? What do you feel when you think about the word credit? So if we can get a raise of hands here, right? This is a voucher moment, by the way, the food truck moment. So raise hands. So what emotion do you feel? Opportunities. Oh, I like that. Gentleman back there. How to feel the need not to spend on things that maybe you don't need to. I love that. What about on this side of the room? How do you feel? Need for responsibility, right? So, here got in the way. So I love all of this, right? When we're thinking about understanding and building your credit, a lot of emotions, a lot of things can come to mind. I can tell you for me personally, right? I learned about credit a little bit later on because I grew up in a household, we didn't talk about finances, right? We didn't talk about credit, and I see a lot of nodding heads. I can share with you that my dad, I was born in Nicaragua, came here when I was 6 years old, and my father used to say, if we don't have cash, we're not buying it, right? And I learned this, and all I heard growing up was that, right? And I really didn't understand how credit can actually be a financial tool that can help you on your financial journey. It can empower you, right? So we're gonna go through a little bit of that foundational information today, right? But I want you all to walk away with, these are the 4 things we're gonna learn today, right? Understanding your credit score, checking, right, your credit score and reports, getting started, right? So even if you've never had credit, it's okay, right? We're gonna talk a little bit about how you can get started and how you can protect your credit. But, yesterday, Will and I were having a conversation. He had a little story that I think it'll be great to share. So you want to share with everyone your credit story?
Great transition, Jackie. We practiced that yesterday. Make sure you transition it this way so I can segue into the conversation. So I was telling Jackie, and I can't confirm this with facts, so let's just take it as truth. I'm a firm believer I know where credit started. The concept of credit, I was telling Jackie yesterday, I believe started in the schoolyard. Now I'm going to ask, this is where we get some participation. You might not get a food voucher for every time you ask a question, so I'll let you know when you get a food voucher. But who here, whether now or high school, or maybe in elementary when we started, used to sell chips or candy? Do we have any early entrepreneurs here?
Or donuts.
Or donuts.
The Krispy Kreme donuts.
Or like Jackie, she walking around with a little cafetera selling cortadito.
What a bad idea.
All right, so we have some early entrepreneurs here. So I believe, I remember growing up and I wanted to have, there was always that kid that had the backpack full of chips and candy. So I said, you go up to a kid and you say, hey, this is where the credit started. Hey, let me get some chips and I got you on Friday. Because maybe I didn't get my allowance yet. So let me ask you, if you go back, transport yourself back to when you were in elementary school, when maybe $1 for a bag of chips was a lot and you didn't have it, and you told your friend, hey, I'll get you on Friday. What do you think they did? What would you do? I don't know, what would you do if you asked, hey, I'll get you on Friday that $1? What would you say to me? What do you think? How can you try? I got a kind face. Go ahead. You're never getting that $1 back. Better give you back your money.
I will find you.
Well, what happens if I What happens if I don't get you back the money on Friday? I lose accountability. Now it's going to be $2.
That interest.
I'm telling you, the concept of credit and interest started in the schoolyard. So now that $1 bag of chips just cost me $2. But you said something, accountability, trust. And that's really what credit is, Jackie. It's trust. Yep. And so when I think back, the only way that we can start to build trust, right, when it comes to our credit is through the actions that we take. So if I don't pay you back that $1, next time I say, let me get you those chips, sorry, Bobby, no chips for you.
Chips for you.
No chips for you. So Jackie, that's where credit started.
Yeah, that's William's version of beginning credit. So we're gonna get into a little bit of really what's in, right, these words, right? Because we heard credit, we hear credit score, we hear credit reports, bureaus, right? So if, Will, can you click?
I had one job.
Right, so this right here is this lecture educational part, right? So credit basically is the ability to be able to buy something today and pay what? Later on, right? That's what it is. That's that chip, the chips, right?
Today.
You eat it today, later on, right? That credit score, right? That wonderful word of credit score. And this is generally a 3-digit number, right? And we're going to get a little bit into more details in a bit, right? That really is a prediction of how risky you are to a lender, right? It's basically what it is. Your report, it's different. Credit score to credit report is a little bit different. The credit report is actually your full-blown information, your history, right? Very detailed to how you have managed your debt in the past with lenders. And then the last one, which is credit bureau, right? This is what gets reported, what lenders go ahead and report to. And there's 3. So this here is a voucher moment because it's not listed on here. There are 3 credit bureaus. So who can name one of them? And I'm going to come. Evelina, where are you? Oh, there you are. So go ahead. TransUnion is one of them. Okay. I'm going to come to this back over there. Experian, right? And the last one? No, actually, it's not 5-star. So we have TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. You got it. Excellent, right? So those are the 3.
Feverishly looking through their phone. I saw
yes, everybody's like searching. What is it? What is it? What's that third one, right? So we have 3 credit bureaus. TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. And really what this is they just gather the information from the borrowers, right, to be able to come up with that credit score and that credit report for you. But, you know, when we're thinking about foundationally, right, can you go back just for 1 second? You're going to get him cheating here, right? So why is credit important to you personally? I want to hear some stories here, right? Why, and just disclaimer, this is just going to be a conversation moment, won't be a voucher moment, but why is credit important to you? Sorry, I saw you had your hand raised for a moment there. Yeah. You're right. You're right on, right? It's that trust factor, right? But also it allows you to be able to make some of those bigger purchases, right? Like a vehicle, like a home in the future, right? What else? I saw your hand was raised. Oh, you're talking rewards, right? So there are rewards that can go with credit cards, right? But you know what? At the end of the day, really, we all have goals, right? Who has a goal in here? Raise your hand. Whether it's a financial goal, an educational goal, some type of goal, right? Everyone in here has a goal. And when it comes to a financial goal, right, credit can really be a resource for you to be able to meet that goal, right? So keep that in mind. But why is it important, right?
You touched on such an important thing, like, and when you think about your credit score, and you said something like, well, it's the only thing that they can go off of, like a bank. I mean, it's definitely one of the top ones, because your credit score is going to be an indicator. An indicator of what? We talked about trust. So simple. If I got good credit score, what does that mean? The ability to trust me is probably good. If I have a bad credit score, probably not so much. So that score, all it really is just an indicator of how the ability for you to repay money that is lent to you. That's what it is in its simplest form. And they've created this entire structure around it to report it, to give you your report card on your credit, and that's what the credit bureaus do. They gather all that information so they can give you your score so that the banks and the financial institutions can have at least one piece of data, one indicator on whether or not you'd be a good risk or a bad risk to lend you money. So let's think about that. What goes into a score? So I've been working for the bank for about 15 years, and what we talked about in the beginning is we didn't always talk about credit in our house, so I didn't really know what a good credit score was. I didn't come to learn that my mom had a bad credit score until later on, right? And it's an evolution, right? Especially if you know, my family we're Cuban immigrants, and we had similar mentalities. We didn't think about, you know, si no tenía dinero, no lo compra. Right? And my mom used to say, oh, don't get a credit card. If you get credit, you're going to ruin your credit, or you're going to ruin your history. And I did when I got my first credit card, but that's because I didn't know. I later found out, because I used to think, man, like a 660, 680, that's a good, even 700, that's a good score. But when I saw this, as I started to teach financial health, even in the 700, that's still just an average score. That's not even the best. And so there's a lot of things that go into creating that number for you. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, right? We're going to go high level, but we're going to talk about what goes into creating that number for you.
Absolutely. And one thing about that chart, right? So lowest score that you can have, 300. The highest you can reach is 850, right? So think of those numbers as purchasing power, right? They give you the ability to be able to negotiate rates. They give you the ability to be able to walk into a dealership and say, this is the vehicle I want, and probably be able to get it, right? So it does give you a lot of that ability to be able to reach those financial goals. So what factors go into those three scores? And this is a big chart. We're not going to get specifically into each of them, but if there is anything that I want you to walk away with today, the biggest factor that goes into that score, what do you see on that chart? Payment history. And what's the percentage? 40%, right? 40% that goes into your score is that payment history. So very early, a couple of years ago, I won't say my age, just a few years back. When I got my first credit card, I was so excited, y'all. You know what I mean, right? It was $2,000. It was a credit card, and I thought I had won the lotto. I went crazy shopping, right? My friend wanted food. Hey, I can buy it for you. I got a credit card. Let's go. Oh, you want that cute top? Oh, I'll get that for you because, you know, you're my bestie. And what happened the first month after I started to make all the purchases, right? I got a bill at home. I got it. I looked at it. I said, oh, that's the credit card. And I put it on the table. I didn't open it. And it wasn't because I couldn't open it. It was just I didn't feel like opening the envelope. Month 2 came around. Same statement. Guess what I did? I stacked it on top of the other one that was there. I didn't pay it. I did that for 4 months. Right? You see that? I didn't know any better because I didn't understand.
Was there paperless statements at the time?
No.
Okay.
Now
you're dating yourself.
We had no paperless.
Now you're dating yourself.
Why do you have to go there?
I'm just saying.
Right? It's just the aging piece, right? You know, but you know what? I did that because I did not know any better. I didn't understand how impacted my score would be when I didn't make that monthly payment and I just kept on stacking those statements. When I finally decided to open it, number one, the debt, you can imagine interest rate and fees, right? What was supposed to be a like $15 minimum payment had increased a lot. And it just really took me some time to be able to have that bank trust me again, right? Now I went from being a low risk to I don't want to even talk to you, right? You're not paying me back, right? But again, it took me some time to understand that 40% does have a very, very heavy weight. The other 21% is the history, right? That age and type of credit that you have open. So if you, for all of you, right, that are starting right now, your credit history is really beginning now, right? Make sure you take care of it. Make sure that you're making your payments on time, right? Because it's going to go, that 21%, it's going to start accumulating as time passes by. And the other 20% is the percentage of credit limit usage. This one is also something I didn't understand until later on, right? So this is, you have a credit limit, right? And then you use it. If you start going over a certain percentage of usage, it can start impacting a little bit. So this is a voucher question, right? Who knows? I'm gonna come back to you all. Let me see if someone here in this part of the room, what percentage it's recommended for you to be able to use versus your credit limit? Oh, or on this side of the room, here we go. Oh, perfect, excellent. 30%, right, is the recommended amount. So perfect example in simple terms, so we don't have to get into all this algebra, calculus, and all that stuff.
But these are college students. Do the algebra.
No, because I don't remember.
Oh, okay, got it.
$1,000, right? 30% is what? $300, right? So once you start going above that $300 usage, right, it can start having that impact. Now, I like to keep it very real. You have a situation and you need to use that limit, use it, right? But what we want to do is we want to be able to empower you and tell you, if you do see a little dip, right, in that score, with that 30%, now you consciously know, wait a second, maybe I want to pay down this debt a little bit more, because guess what? I know that I'm over that 30%, right? Or it might take you a little bit longer to pay, but just, again, giving you some of those tools to be able to empower you for that credit score to be healthy.
You know, the one thing that stands out to me, because people would ask me, you know, hey, Will, how do I fix my credit? How do I do that? I say, okay, well, that's easy. Most of it's actually, it's all in your control, but it doesn't seem that way. Pay your bills on time. Don't overuse your credit cards. And my wife may argue differently, but time heals everything. So if you did a bad payment, you didn't do something, time. Put distance between the bad stuff that you did, your credit will get better. That's it. That's what, 81% of your credit is things that you can control.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I'm getting the signals to speed it up. So we're going to speed it up a little bit here. So part of it being in your control is just like you check your own personal health. Who here goes to the doctor, gets a annual physical, any of those things? Okay. You're always worried with asking rhetorical questions, but yes, okay, everyone gets their annual physical. We want you to do the same thing with your credit health. We want you to check the credit bureaus. The government gives you a free resource, annualcreditreport.com, so that you can check your credit. It's on you to make sure that you're checking your credit health. Who gets anxiety? Well, let me ask you this. There's two emotions that I think of when you apply for a credit card. Who's applied for a credit card and they're nervous that they're going to get approved? Has anyone ever applied and you're like, I don't know. You click submit and you don't know if you're going to get approved? Anyone get nervous? That's probably one or two things are happening. You don't know what your credit score is, or you know you got bad credit. And you're like, I really hope I get approved. I really need this. If you got good credit, most people don't get nervous about applying for credit. Same thing when you're going to get a car. I remember I'd be sitting there and I love the car, and they're like, oh, we're going to go see it. I'm like, yeah, go check it out. And I'm like, I don't know if this is going to happen. I really want this car. But those emotions are tied to it. But you shouldn't be surprised about your credit. So we want you to check it. Shameless plug here. Shameless, we have to, right? There's a lot of free resources out there, whether you use Credit Karma, whether you use some other bank resource. Chase offers a free service for you, right? You can check it out, but Chase Credit Journey, you don't have to be a customer to use it. We want you to check your credit, know your credit score. Who in here knows their credit score? All right, good. Who here is, well, I'm not gonna ask that question, but who's happy with their credit score? Don't answer it. Okay. All right. Jackie, how do we get started with credit?
Absolutely, right? So if you don't have credit yet, it's okay, right? There's ways to get started. I'm going to review 2 of these. One of them is through a secure credit card, right? Who knows here what a secure credit card is? Who's heard of that term?
Can we get a food voucher for that one?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So right over here.
And you can't have 2 food vouchers.
I'm trying to keep tab here. Right over here. Secure credit card. What is it?
Ooh.
Yes, absolutely. Right. So secure credit cards are offered at different financial institutions, and that basically is what it is, right? You put some money down in an account, and guess what? They give you a credit card based on that limit. You start using it, start paying, and it starts being reported to those 3 credit bureaus that we spoke about. Other financial institutions, by the way, also offer student credit cards, right, which are easier sometimes to get, especially if you're a student, or new to credit, right? New to credit credit cards are also a way to go because they also allow you to be able to begin establishing credit. The other one is that I want to talk about is authorized signer, right? You can be added as an authorized signer in a caregiver's, right? I see some heads nodding, right? Caregiver or a parent's account, and that starts helping on your credit. Now, be very cautious with that, right? Because remember, if you mess up, ooh, they're gonna get you, right? Because it also affects theirs, right? Others are listed on here, right? But we're not gonna get too much into those, but just 2 that I wanted to review. How do you protect your credit?
Well, you know, it's funny. I think about that paradox of credit because it's hard to get credit if you don't have credit, but you need credit to get credit. So think about that, right? It's really confusing. Like, I want to start credit. Great, you need credit in order to get a credit card. So those tips are really important, Jackie. Mm-hmm. Now, here's something where we get stuck a lot. Who's ever heard about a hard credit inquiry or a soft credit inquiry? I know for a fact, I've gone to the store, I don't know if you fall victim to this, you get 20% off if you sign up for a credit card. Anyone ever do that? Is that a hard credit inquiry or a soft credit inquiry? Hard credit inquiry. They check your credit. So here's the best way to know this. If they're checking your credit because you're trying to get credit, that's a hard credit pull. But if you check your credit, that does not affect your credit score. That is considered a soft credit pull. That's the easy way to know. If you're applying for credit, that's a hard credit pull. If you're checking it yourself, that's a soft credit pull.
And before you move on, just really quick, something that I wanted to cover here, because we talked about purchasing power, right? But it also can save you money, right? Having good credit can save you money through interest rates, right? But something else that's listed on here, if you're going for a job, right, especially my students in the room or those who want to change, right? There are employers out there that do check your score, right? Also, we live in Florida, right? Insurance, right? Insurance, car insurance, auto insurance, and homeowners insurance. Also, they check your score.
If you're going to rent.
Right? If you're going to rent an apartment, the landlord is checking your score. And if your score is low, again, you're a higher risk. They're probably going to ask you for either a bigger down, right? Or some type of security fee. So again, it can save you money in the long run as well as be able to give you that purchasing power. Right, so we're coming to the end here. Some of the things that, we talked about how to understand your credit score, checking it, right? But additionally, how to get started and actually protecting your credit report, right? And that score. So, but like most things, I remember when I was in school a really long time ago, right? And when I had a test, when I had to remember something, I used to use acronyms. So I want to give you some action items, right? A call to action, because Will and I can sit here all day and talk about credit, all day, right? We can talk about tips, we could talk about the scores, but really what we want to do is we want you all to actually take action, right? So I'm going to call this the RRC, right? So that first R is for request. I challenge you, if you haven't, request your free annual credit report from the 3 credit bureaus, right? The site is listed on here. This is not only checking your score, right, but actually requesting the 3 credit bureaus. Second, the second R, review. Review what's on that report. Make sure that all the information is on there that is correct. And the last one is commit, right? Commit to tracking it. Commit to making sure that you have a healthy relationship with your goals, but also with that score, right? So what's the first R? What's the second R? And the C? All right, let's do that again, because I need to get you all going.
Well, Jackie, I mean, this has been a great audience, but like we're standing in between some amazing artists.
I know.
Some amazing folks and food.
And food, that's right.
So they're like, this is great information, pero dale avanza. They're like, so the faster you guys get loud with us, so like, what's the first R? Request. Okay, dale.
The second R?
Review.
And the C? We love it. Now you guys can almost eat. No. Get the great interview.
I keep pressing the wrong button, so if you see the green light, it's because I'm messing up with the clicker. All right, so Chase is excited to be here to partner with FIU, to partner with the foundation to bring you these resources. As exciting and as riveting this information is, thank you so much for being an amazing audience. Thank you so much for participating. But also, it doesn't just stop here, right? FIU has some amazing resources for you as well. They're outside, they have their tables set up, but please take a moment, take a picture of this, check out the resources that you have on campus, right? But also, if you haven't checked your credit, if you haven't, do that, but also building a relationship with your bank, building a relationship with a financial institution, that's part of it. People that are going to help educate you on the products, the services, the things you need to build your own financial health, regardless of where you're at on your financial journey. All right? It's about creating access for communities that traditionally have not gotten this information. It's on you to take this information, change the narrative for our community, and build wealth. That's what this is about. Who's heard of the racial wealth gap? Anyone heard about the wealth gap? No? Yes. What is the wealth gap? The 1%. I'm not going to say, I'm not the 1%. I'm not the 1%. That's the goal. That's a great goal. That's a great goal to have. But we need to lift up our community. We need to have access to resources. It starts here. It starts with the information. All right? So, without further ado, I need to thank Jackie for her amazing partnership today. Thank you. Let's give it up for Jackie Gutierrez, everybody. Thank you so much.
Back to Will. Thank you.
All right. And thank you all very much for
Thank you all.
All right.
Otro aplauso para Will and Jackie. Claro. No soy ingeniera, pero bueno. Thank you, Jackie. So our amazing panel for today, I want to welcome them to the stage. Manu Manzo, Lena Burke, and Bruno Del Granado. I have some pretty bios over here. Manu Manzo, Latin GRAMMY nominated singer, songwriter, and producer. She's from Venezuela. Latin pop R&B moods, Manu Manzo shakes up Latin music with a simmering shot of soul. The Latin GRAMMY Award-nominated singer, songwriter, and producer enchants her audience with a signature style that's both smooth and spellbinding. Welcome, Manu.
Hi guys, happy to be here.
Lena Burke, Latin Grammy winning singer, songwriter, and pianist, nacida en La Habana, Cuba. daughter also of one of Cuba's greatest artists, Lena Burke. She has collaborated with big artists like Alejandro Sanz. She was also part of the tribute Persona del Año Grammy 2005 homenaje a José José. And she has received 2 nominations for Latin Grammy, Artista Nueva del Año, Grabación del Año, Por Tu Corazón. Oh, I love that song. Bruno Del Granado, head of Global Latin Touring Group at CAA. Bruno is leading entertainment and sports agency at Creative Artist Agency. He represents many of the most accomplished musicians working in Latin music, as well as actors including Ricky Martin, Gloria Estefan, Luis Fonsi, Becky G, Thalía, Dana Paola, Residente, and Isabela Merced. Thank you, Bruno, for being here. So let's start some questions. This is going to be una conversación como si estamos en la casa de tu abuelita. I want some questions first for Lena and Manu. So what would you say are some of the most important characteristics and ways that these students in the audience and the students that are connected with us on the YouTube channel can maximize their talent?
Hi, nice to meet you all. I think there is a lot of opportunity when you're studying hard, and which I believe every one of you are. And I graduated in Cuba from classical piano after 11 years. And then I came here. So as a Cuban immigrant, I think the best to do is to work hard all the time. Have your dreams, have your goals, but you have to be working hard in order for doors to open, you know, and if you're working at that time, the doors will open for you. And collaborate with your peers. Show your talent every time you get a chance. Play. If you're a musician, play in front of your family, in front of your friends, small gigs, big gigs. Everything counts. So you lose, that fear that when you're in school, you could be very talented, but when you're on stage, it's a totally different story. And so I was a very shy girl, so I'm telling you because of my experience. And it took me a lot of years as a musician to grow in that sense. So practice, and keep your goals in mind.
Yeah, I think that's literally it. I also feel like it's a big word that we all hear, but it's so real, which is discipline. I think that when you want something really, really bad, all the little things that you want at the time that might not give you the benefits in the long run, you shouldn't do, you know? I know we're all young and we want to party and we want to drink and we want to have fun, but if you're in the arts and if you're in music, specifically if you're a vocalist like I am, one of my biggest challenges was like school, fun, and also working, because it's so strong on the voice to like talk loud and party and all these things que te desconcentran un poco. So I think discipline is key. And also just really being true to who you are, you know? It's interesting as we grow up, we always evolve and we change, but wherever you are in your life, because it's ever changing, just like connect with that that only you know, and bring that out, because that's your gift. Like any difference in you that you have, that's what's gonna take you to be different and like stand out in a sea of many people. So I think those two things, and performing and putting yourself out there any way that you can, are like key things for when you're beginning.
I love it. And I know that, Bruno, you work every day with gifted people. Can you tell us a little bit about your role at CAA and what got you interested in the music industry?
Well, so I run the Latin music group at CAA, Creative Artist Agency. We're the largest talent agency in the world, and an agent basically is part of an artist's team. So if you look at an artist like Manu, he or she needs a manager, they need a business manager, they need an attorney, they need a promoter, a record label in some cases, and then an agent. We are the folks who secure concert shows, television deals, and brands and sponsorships. So the agency's sole job is to secure opportunities for our clients, whether it's in music, brands, sports, digital, film, TV, whatever it is. My role is heading up the Latin division, so Latin music. So whether it's Ricky or Luis Fonsi, Maluma, Dana Paola, Residente, our job is to secure as many opportunities for them within our space. And obviously we've talked about the importance of Latin music, not only here in the US, but globally. It's probably the most popular format of music now globally. And I would say, you know, it just shows no sign of slowing down. I'm old enough to have lived several Latin explosions, including the last big one in '99 with Ricky, Enrique, Shakira, and then it kind of went away. And then it started again for a little bit in the mid-2004 or 5 with Daddy Yankee, and it kind of went away for a little while, and then it started in 2017 with Despacito, and since then it's just been every year, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Last year was huge because of Bad Bunny, and we thought, okay, that's it. And this year, regional Mexican, which is now called Mexican music, has taken it to a new level globally. So our job is to secure as many financial and opportunities for our clients at CAA.
Thank you, Bruno. And what are some of the challenges, and I think this question goes for the three of you guys, what are some of the challenges that start with the artist, of an artist right now, and how can you overcome it?
Whew. I feel like, look, there's always challenges, no matter where you're at. Whether you're the biggest artist in the world or you're just starting, there's a little bit of challenge in every step of the way. I think a big thing right now is that everything moves very quickly. So there's a lot of music coming out every single day. Y hay demasiado contenido, hay demasiada gente creando, hay demasiada gente haciendo música. Pero pienso que si lo vemos a la inversa, that it's taking something away, but that there's a chance to also discover a lot of music, you know? I feel like I'm 28 years old. I'm probably like a little bit older than you guys, but I feel like you have such a different mindset than maybe like older generations, where you just see the world differently and you're used to this like constant having just content and music and all these things so quickly. So I don't necessarily take those things as challenges. I think that the fact that now, as Bruno said, when he said, oh, sometimes you need a label, maybe. Like now you're able to do all these things on your own. Like you have that at your fingertips to just release your music and release it through independent distributors that will take very little to no money from you, you know, and then you can do that all online. So I see that as a challenge, but also as a really good tool to just be able to put yourself out there on your own and create your own place in this social media world. So that's like a challenge turned positive, kind of.
I love it. And what would be some of the financial challenges that artists face these days, and why is credit so important?
Well, I had to learn about credit. Well, today I learned a lot, like you guys. But when I came from Cuba, it was a different story there. So it took me a while to learn the process, how it is. And nowadays, I think you have to build your credit. It's very, very important because there are some tough times that comes, and you have to be prepared for those tough times. Especially us musicians, we lack a little bit of a structure, you know, that discipline of take care of our accounts. And as Bruno was saying, we need a team that take care of it. But sometimes you don't have that team at the beginning when you're starting. And you need to, you know, you have your savings, you have to be very, very careful of where you spend your money. You have to buy your gear, your instruments, you have to be prepared. So to have a good credit helps a lot, you know, to have your tools to perform, to do your art.
One thing I want to add, so I've worked with a lot of superstars and I've worked with a lot of developing artists, and I always see the developing artists who are just starting out, who are financially savvy. When a record company signs you, and Manu knows this and so does Lena, They're lending you money. You think you're getting an advance of $500,000 or $1 million to record an album, and you think that's your money to spend and do whatever you want. That's their money. They're lending it with very high interest. You need to pay it back. That's unrecouped royalties and accounts. And not only that, when you end up selling, or in today's world, when you end up streaming and making some money on that, or you go on tour and make some money, a lot of artists who don't have financial savvy, a financial savvy mind will spend money like it will always continue to come in. And you see them buying mansions and private planes and suddenly putting 20 people on staff and all that. And that stuff stops sooner than later, because unless you are financially savvy, unless you're a songwriter, unless you're very versatile and diverse in your business endeavors, the money's going to stop and you're going to owe a ton of money. And the road is littered with artists who were at the top of the game, and then suddenly a few years later, they're bankrupt. And there's no coming back. Once you have a shot, unless you are beyond talented, the door closes and you're done. As you guys obviously seen these things happen in the business. So you have to be very financially savvy, or surround yourself with people who are financially savvy if you're an artist.
Yeah, I also feel like finding the difference between spending and investing, whatever that means to you. Like if you're buying gear, that's an investment that's going to give you a return because you're going to perform, you're going to be able to play your gigs, get some money, etc. If you want a new pair of shoes, a new pair of Balenciagas, maybe don't get that, you know? Like if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it. Don't waste your money on that. It devalues. It's absolutely, no one really cares that much. You think that they care more than people actually do. So those are, I think, great points.
I want Bruno to ask you this question first, but I also want to know Manu and Lena's input. We have many students here and online that are interested in pursuing a career in the entertainment industry. What were some of the most important lessons and skills you learned at the early stages of your career? Something you know now that you wish you knew then?
Well, when I started, I'm not a musician, never been. I've always been a music fan. When I started, I've always loved music, but when I started college, I started meeting people, and people at the radio station, people at the concert promotion department. So through that, I got my in to first in college radio, and then concert promotion department, and then a record company as an intern. I was very persistent. I was true to my word. I went over and beyond what was expected of me. For example, at the radio station, they gave me what was called back then the graveyard shift, 4 to 7 in the morning, and then after that I had to go to class 3 times a week. Many a times the DJ before me would not show up, so I'd get there 1 in the morning and be there 7 hours putting music on, or sometimes the one after me never showed up, so I'd be there till 10 in the morning. But people knew they can count on me. And in this business, it's all, your word is your bond, your reputation is everything that you have. It's more important than money, more important than anything. If you say you're going to do something, you have to deliver, because the world is full of flaky people, especially in our business. Everybody gets in, and then they realize how hard it is, and only 10 or 20% of people manage to actually make a career out of it. Thank God I have. The other 80% realize, oh man, this is not red carpets, this is not parties every night or champagne service, and then they flake out. Like I said, your word is your bond. Nothing more important than your reputation.
Manu, what are some of your consejos or things you wish que hubieses sabido cuando empezaste?
Oh my God, cosas que hubiese sabido, que quería haber sabido, muchas. Pero pienso que, and this is now speaking solely from the artist POV, I think, and I'll keep saying it because it's so important, being true to you. I feel like I allowed too many people to get into my head and tell me what they expected from me, or influenciar and decirme, I see you in this way, so I was trying to like act that part, when in reality, no one knows the artist best than the artist. And there's an amazing quote by Rick Rubin. If you guys haven't read his new book, I recommend it 100% because it's so interesting and so just from the art, you know? I feel like you're in this industry and sometimes like it's the business and it's the this and all the outside that we forget that we're here because we're artists. So I feel like just always tapping in to you. If the executive was the artist, they would be doing the art, you know? And sometimes they think that they know best, and sometimes they don't. and I don't mean don't listen to consejos de gente que tú admiras y que de verdad te interesa, but everyone has some shit to say, you feel me? So you can't listen to everything that everyone says. You gotta take everything with a grain of salt and be like, okay, I agree with that, or okay, thank you so much. I will take it into consideration, and then throw it out the window and if you don't like it and if it doesn't resonate, you know? So just like always be in tune with you, so much in tune with you that nothing outside can make you think otherwise, no matter who is saying it. I think that's one thing that I wish I would have implemented a little more when I was younger, but you live and you learn, and it's all a journey.
¡Qué poderoso! I love it. Lena, para los estudiantes que están acá, que están empezando y se quieren meter en la música.
I want to add something to that.
Ay, dale.
Something that has always captivated me is the work of other artists that have done it before us. And I think, well, they're called legends or amazing artists that we're following their path in music, in art, and everything. I think you have to respect that before, you know, doing your own thing. It's important to respect where we come from. So that will, you know, write the path where we're going to. And so that's the thing that it's been important to me, because I come from a family of Cuban singers, women in music, and to respect that, you know, that ancestors, and it has driven me to where I am at today. And it's very important that to respect who did it before you and do it your own way now, but respect elders. No? I think that's a good thing to follow.
I just want to add something to what they both said. One of the reasons why I love doing what I do is because I'm around creative talent. Somebody like Manu or Lena, they were born to be artists. They were born to be creative and show us their creativity. At the end of the day, I always say, and I've always said to my clients, I could, you know, if everything falls apart, I can go to Starbucks and get a job as a barista. Manu was born to be Manu. Lena was born to be Lena. And the talent and the creativity around the talent is what makes this such a special business, and so you feel so blessed to be around talented people, because it is a gift from God or from the universe or whoever you believe in. What they have is a real gift, and those of us around them are so lucky to be a part of what they have, and respect that tremendous gift that you have from your ancestors and for, you know, wherever it comes from.
Likewise, honestly, you know, when I say the thing with don't listen to people, I mean it really. Take that also with a grain of salt, because it does take a team, it takes a village. And as Lena said, we do have to go back and study whoever came before us, because though we're creating, nothing really is very new these days. Someone's done it, maybe we've never seen it, and they don't have the exposure that maybe the biggest artists in the world do, but they're doing it somewhere. So it's important to study and to know your craft, and to give flowers where flowers are due, and then take that and make it your own.
Definitely. I love it. I want to open the floor for questions for Manu, for Bruno, for Lena. Ay, por aquí.
Check.
Hello, my name is Madison Hurtado. It was nice to meet you all. You guys are doing great. I wanted to know what inspires you in your field and like within your music, and your whole like creative process.
Life in general, honestly. My process is very personal. I really enjoy writing about things that have happened to me. That's mostly where my best things come out of. Mostly heartbreak, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. That's where all the best things come out. I think life in general is, you can get inspiration from anything. You can overhear a conversation. You can be walking down the street and seeing something beautiful that just sparks something. That's kind of where my process goes into. I don't have limits. Also, a big thing, like I know a lot of us are bilingual in here. I'm sure Latinos, pero vivimos acá. My dad told me something amazing, because when I was starting to write in Spanish, I learned in English, so I was mostly writing in English. And when I was trying to write in Spanish, he was like, hey, don't push yourself. whatever comes out, comes out. You get me? You just have to really allow yourself in that creative flow from wherever it comes from. It can literally be from you taking a shower and something coming in your head. Yeah. It's God, it's universe coming in through you. You're only the vessel, so that can come from literally wherever. So never stop it. Don't look for it too much. It'll come.
Got it. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for being here. My question is directed for Manu, but how you mentioned the content, there's a lot of content coming out. My question, how do you keep up with all of this content, but at the same time keep your sanity?
Yeah, good question. I don't know, because I haven't figured that one out yet. I think it's important to just understand that even though we do need content for nowadays, day and age, end of the day, we're not machines, and we need breaks, and it's okay. The world will keep going, and it's not going to fall apart because no montaste el reel que tenías que montar ayer o el TikTok que tenías que montar hace 3 horas. ¿Me entiendes? Like, if you're having a bad day and it's really messing with your mental, take a beat. Like, it all starts from up here. If you're not right up here, you can't create correctly. You can't have any really good ideas. It's kind of saturation. And, you know, whether you're a content creator or if you're an artist and a creative in that sense, which it's different ways of creating, there's a little bit of a difference. We don't have to push it so much, you know? And things also should be cohesive to what you're doing. So don't get it stressed. I get stressed still, so don't think I don't. Like, it drives me crazy. You gotta do it, but you gotta take a beat.
Hi, I'm Kendall Vardos. I'm wondering, like, how do you meet the people and connections that get you to where you're going? Because I feel like so much, like, I've been in, like, bands and I've done little gigs and stuff, but, like, how do you really get out there? Because sometimes it seems, I don't want to say impossible, but, like, very far-fetched because so little people make it to the big leagues. So, like, what would you say to just get yourself out there? What's the best way?
I think nowadays we have the social medias tool. You know, when I started, it wasn't there, so it's easier now. But YouTube is a great platform for people to discover you. There's a lot of artists that we know that have studied there. But also, if you've like heard of festivals, I don't know, like places that it's your style of music that they're playing that night. And be bold, get there, ask them to play, for you to play or for you to sing something. I started as a backup vocalist. I did a lot of albums from other artists, and during that time, my break got there, you know, but you have to be there all the time, you know.
How did you get to be like a backup singer? Like, how do you even get that opportunity?
Well, I've been a musician my whole life. And I started when I got here with Jose Luis Rodriguez El Puma, a great singer. That was my first album. I started as a musician and doing gigs in clubs and, you know, show up. Let me play this song. It's how it gets done, I think. And as I said before, you have to perform in front of people, your friends, your family. Other peers will call you later. I remember this girl that was playing in that party. Let's call her. You know, that's the way I'll do it. Also, social media has a lot of advantages right now to show your performance there. And that's good, right?
Our business is people. It's a people business, so you have to network. There are, like Lena and Manu said, you know, festivals, concerts, events, showcases. Also, there are a lot of industry events now in Miami. It's so easy now. All you got to do is Google whatever you want to do, and you'll find it. When I started, there was no Google, and there was no way to find how to get a foot in the door. But there are a ton of industry events here where you can meet folks from the industry. And for me, it's always been, if I want to meet an artist or somebody who's a musician, it's always showcases, and there are plenty of places here and around this area in South Florida or wherever you're from where you can go showcase and end up meeting the band, meeting the musicians and all that. But it really is a people thing where you have to take the initiative and walk up to whoever you want to meet and just present yourself.
Yeah, you gotta play anywhere. Even if there's 3 people there, those 3 people will know you. Play, like Nana said. And look, be shameless. Shameless. You know when Chase said shameless plug, that's what you gotta do. Slide in people's DMs. People that you admire, you never know. You know, it's like you never really know. You just go and say, hey, I love your stuff. I'm such a big fan. Blah, 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 blah. They might respond, they might not, but from the 10 that you sent, someone's gonna answer. And just being in front of people and doing that network, it'll all fall into place. Like once you do your own thing and what you gotta do, which is get out there and perform and put your best foot forward, es como un imán, everything just comes. Everything just comes and the right people will align and people will start wanna just be part of what you're doing.
Yes. We have sorry. Correct. We have 2 more questions, one here and one here.
Hi, good morning. For someone who writes a lot of music, we all obviously dedicate a lot of time to our craft, and so what would you say the next step is? Would it be licensing, the music or the lyrics, or joining an association? What would be a strategic next step?
I would say, and then you guys obviously know probably better than I do, I would say, number 1, joining an association. First thing, I would either sign up with ASCAP EMI and go and try to see the publishing folks as well, whether it's Sony, Pierre, Warner Chappell, Universal, Cobalt. There are plenty of publishing folks, and Miami has offices for everybody now, but I would start that way. And also, don't rely on the publishing company to put your song on the next Manu album or the next Bad Bunny album. It's like you got to do it yourself. That's the one thing about the business now. It's DIY, do it yourself, even though there are record companies, there are publishers, everybody. But I think today's business, as Manu can attest to, it's basically you doing everything yourself.
I agree with all he said.
One more question over here.
So this question is basically for the 3 of you, but for Manu, I know you're preparing for your tour. You're gonna perform at the FIU on the 27th. I just wanna know financially, how do you prepare for that? As a musician, how do you prepare financially with your team for strategically planning all the concerts, tours? How does that work?
Yeah, I think now going back to more financial stuff, credit is great for that kind of stuff. I got my first credit card when I was 18. My parents gave it to me. It was $1,000, and I said, it's lit. We out here. Like, let's go. So I ran through that credit card thinking they were going to pay for it at the end of the month. And my mom said, you're crazy. Like, we're not paying your credit card every single month. Like, no. So I learned the hard way because I had that on my credit for a while until they closed my account, and then I had to keep paying because I said, I don't want to send it to collection. I just want to pay my whole thing off. Now I'm in a good place in my credit. I pay off my credit cards every single month in full. What I do is that I literally use them for all the stuff that I will usually spend money on, bills, gas, whatever, and then I pay off the whole entire thing. And you'll see how that really helps your credit. I wouldn't recommend paying the minimum. I don't think that does anything good for you. You should go a little higher, but we can do what we can do. For tour, I am an independent artist, so I'm kind of funding everything myself. I love brands. Always remember this. Brand partnerships will be your best friend ever. There's good money in brand partnerships, and that will give you freedom to do your touring, your music, however you want, if you don't have a label behind you. So I've been running on brand partnerships and also just putting up all the stuff in the credit and my credit card and paying it off. So I have that little system going on. Took me a while to get it, but that's kind of how I fund my things nowadays, and it's great. As Lena said, as Bruno said, as we've all said, we have so much in our hands right now because we have social media on our side, and also you guys are so lucky that you're getting to chat with people that are in finance and with everyone in this panel right now. I wish I had that. I went to Berkeley, and trust me, they didn't give me one finance thing. at all. And as musicians, we need that because we don't run on just a paycheck every month. It's a little bit different. So credit will be your best friend. Take care of that. You will have so much freedom.
And save some money at
And
Chase.
save.
Not under the bed.
Thank you so much. Big round of aplausos para Lena, Manu, and Bruno. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're going to welcome to the stage Silvana Montenegro, Global Head of Advancing Hispanic and Latinos at JPMorgan Chase, for a special message.
Thank you all. What an amazing program. Today, we've heard so many great points and consejos in terms of why is it so important for us to build our financial health. My name is Silvana Montenegro, and I have the pleasure of leading a very, very important mission for JPMorgan Chase, which is creating access and opportunities for Hispanics and Latinos, but also for all communities. I want to thank the Latin GRAMMY Cultural Foundation, where is Rocky, Becky, Nanette, Kevin. This work we do together is extremely important. I also want to thank my amazing team, Advancing Hispanics and Latinos, where is William Jaramillo, Evelina. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Jackie, for an amazing conversation here. I think there's a very common theme here today. Financial health depends on each one of us. There are things that we cannot control, but the discipline that we have, the importance that credit really is for of our lives is extremely critical. Your future can be whatever you want it to be. But don't forget that the base for everything that you want to do starts right now. So thank you very much. Thank you, Vicky, and thank you for the amazing artists for your amazing advice. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of your program, and I hope you took some very important takeaways from today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in this very special program. My name is Nanette Velez. I'm the Senior Director of the Programs of the Foundation. And just thank you from the bottom of our hearts to help guide us through this ever-changing industry. Thank you to Chase, to William, to Jackie, to Silvana, for helping us with these topics that are not necessarily taught in school, but are so important to us all, to our personal development and to our careers in the industry and the arts. I just want to say thank you for FIU for hosting us. A big round of applause for FIU. Thank you for everybody that joined us through YouTube. Thank you for Effie, to Aixa, who helped plan all this. Thank you for Karen Veloz from the music department that also helped us. And we talked about music, we talked about credit, but why don't we listen to some music? I would like to introduce you to the students of FIU and the Line Jazz Band. So a big round of applause for them. round of applause for the FIU Jazz Band. Well, we've come to the end of our program, but letting you know that we will have many more. Thank you for connecting with us. Thank you for attending. We would like for you to please complete our post-event survey to help us build more and create more opportunities. We would also want to encourage you to visit the Octagon Lounge that has Chase professionals that can help you build your resume. You can get headshots, and there you can get vouchers for the food trucks. Everybody with a green ticket has free pizza outside. We have our 360 photo booth and many other activities throughout the day. Thank you, Vicky, for being our host. Thank you, Manu. Thank you, Lena. Bruno, you're a walking encyclopedia of the industry. Silvana, Jackie, William, and Rocky, if you can all come up to take a picture with the band. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time. Hasta la próxima. Gracias a todos.